with the ICJ ruling coming out, people are wondering, is this actually going to stop the offensive on Rafah? It seems unlikely to immediately force Israeli compliance. I don't think that's going to happen. Theoretically, it's going to draw more international attention. The US might choose to respect it. As of right now, the response from leaders in Israel has been furious. They're not happy about this. Benjamin Netanyahu's office put out a statement saying the charges of genocide brought by South Africa against Israel at the ICJ in The Hague are false, outrageous, and morally repugnant. Israel has not and will not conduct military actions in the Rafah area, which may inflict on the Palestinian civilian population in Gaza conditions of life that could bring about its physical destruction in whole or in part. That's not even going to be untrue. That's already untrue. They rebutted the charges of genocide, by the way, when we talked about it a month or two ago. I would ask everyone how many thousands of civilians have died in Gaza since the last time Benjamin Netanyahu's office said that they were being super respectful of civilian life. Anyway, you mentioned the National Security Minister, Cenk, Ben-Gvir, who says there should be only be one answer to the irrelevant order of the anti-Semitic court in The Hague: the occupation of Rafah, the increase of military pressure, and the complete defeat of Hamas. There's a lot of other components of that he's not stating outright, that we will kill thousands of civilians if that's what it takes to get the three things I just listed. But those are obviously true. And my favorite response is from Naftali Bennett, who was the 13th prime minister of Israel, who tweeted that the ICJ just provided every terror organization on earth with the perfect method to get away with murder. And I think that Bennett has a good point. All you have to do is you conduct a horrendous terror attack. Then over the course of months, most of the buildings in your entire territory that you live in are destroyed. Tens of thousands of civilians are killed. The vast majority of your membership as a terrorist organization are killed. And then many months later, the ICJ will put a non-binding statement out about Israel. Thus, the perfect method to get away with murder. It's a reminder that politicians the world over are absolute chuckleheads. They are mediocre individuals, not particularly sharp. That's a nonsensical statement. And again, there's barely even like an acknowledgement of the actual stakes in the invasion of Rafah, the possibility of large-scale loss of civilian life. They'll occasionally throw out a thing about, we're not going to do it in whole or in part. But again, it's happening right now. Literally, as we're recording this, people are dying. So that's what I think, Cenk. What do you think?
Pausing here to deliver some honest truth, as we do in our news coverage as well. TYT is facing challenges, guys, as the entire industry is. You know who could make the difference? You. If you hit the join button below, it's going to make all the difference and keep us in business. We appreciate you. Thank you.
Look, there is only a sliver of hope in some Israeli politicians like Yair Lapid, who's in opposition to this government, and Benny Gantz, who's part of the government, but every once in a while slightly disagrees with Netanyahu. But most of the Israeli cabinet has lost their minds, and they're on a vengeance kick, if not a thing that's worse, which is a purposeful ethnic cleansing of Gaza to just take Gaza. And to take either a part of Gaza, a so-called buffer zone, and that's Benny Gantz's solution, and he's one of the theoretical rational ones, non-insane ones on the cabinet, or take all of Gaza, which is what Smotrich and Ben-Gvir seem to want to do. If they take Gaza, they've lost their goddamn minds, and so then we're in a race between how quickly America and Israel can bully, destroy, defeat, humiliate, kill, crush the Palestinians, and the rest of the world saying we object so deeply to this, one of the most immoral acts of our lifetime, that we're going to stop doing business with America, let alone Israel, because this is just too much to bear. So that's the race we're in, and I fear that usually America and Israel win that race, that the world doesn't care enough to have consequences come down on America. And if consequences don't come down on America, we're just going to keep taking that AIPAC money and give Israel 100% of what they want, which doesn't help Israel at all. We're just, because of the right-wing AIPAC money, we are greatly hurting our ally Israel, because none of our politicians will be honest about what they should actually do to rescue their country. Instead, we're aiding and abetting the very worst impulses that the most maniacal people inside of the Israeli cabinet have. And so this movie is very unlikely to end well. It's likely to end in complete and utter disaster.